I think of literature as my religion. Literature guides me, literature teaches me, literature consoles me. And I also learn life lessons from literature. I learn from literature, from reading stories, that every human being is flawed. We're not perfect, but we don't have to be perfect. That all of us as human beings, we want to be loved, we want to be valued, we want to be heard, we want to be seen. And I think it cuts across cultures.
As pessoas muitas e eu por aí sem te encontrar vou pedir a Oxalá Oxalá quem guia.
I wasn't black until I went to the US. I didn't think of myself as black because in Nigeria everybody's black. And then I went to America and I realized I was black. And what I realized was it's not just about the color of my skin, which by the way I love. In America, to be called black has meaning. It's not a value-free identity. It's loaded with many negative stereotypes. And so for me, it was very difficult because I was coming from Nigeria where black achievement is ordinary. You know, black people do well in school. And then I realized that in the US, it was not ordinary, it was remarkable. Made me aware of blackness as a political identity. Brazil has a race problem. Black people clearly don't have access to positions of power. It seems to me that in Brazil, the higher you go, the more invisible black people are. The world is moving to the right, and it makes me sad. And the reason it makes me sad is that I think there's a sense in which the leaders, they're starting to normalize a kind of ugly rhetoric where immigrants are dehumanized. And we have to remember, I mean, it's so important to remember, a country like Brazil is a country of immigrants. Right? And that if we had that same rhetoric, there's so many people today, I'm sure even the president of Brazil probably wouldn't be in Brazil if when his family came, the rhetoric was the same. Immigrants are not criminals. You know, refugees are not criminals. In America, I was horrified that you had children being imprisoned because they had tried to make a better life. I mean, fundamentally, that's what it is. It makes me sad, but I also believe that it's going to pass. I think that there are more people who care about democracy than people who do not. And this kind of populist right-wing governments that seem to be happening everywhere are fundamentally undemocratic. And I think people will step back and vote them out. I really believe that.
Sou minha própria sorte.
What Me Too has done is that finally women's stories are being believed, and it's almost revolutionary. I mean, just think about all the women who did not come out to tell their stories because nobody would believe them, or somebody would tell them, oh, it's really your fault, or what did you do, or that kind of thing. So it's no longer the idea that the woman is probably lying. It's that she's probably telling the truth. And I think that's a wonderful first step, but it's still a first step.